Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. I'm going to get a little philosophical on this one. It's not really about forms or a statute. I'm going to talk about getting priced out of justice in the American system. So, yeah, I think we have the best legal system in the world that I know of. Haven't studied every legal system, but and being a practicing attorney for almost 18 years now, I still stand by that. But it's not a perfect system. I don't think a perfect system exists. So there are times when you take the good with the bad, and so there are ways you can get priced out of justice. And so why am I talking about this? Besides, it's really fun to talk about legal stuff. Duh, that's obvious. Why am I talking about this with this group? Well, because it's really important to get your forms right for your clients, that you fill these things out. You want to avoid a legal dispute. It's just, even though it's a great system, you don't want to be in it. You don't want to be in it. You've lost if you're going to court. You've already lost. Something went wrong. Somebody messed up. So keep those things in order. And I'll put a plug in for having an appropriate amount of earnest money in your purchase contracts. And you got to decide what that is. You don't want it to be too little or too large. You want it to be kind of that sweet spot that will cover the actual damages potential. That's what you're really trying to do. It's liquidated damages clause, right? You're trying to say in there, this is an approximation of what the financial damage would be if one of the parties breached the contract. And so this saves us the hassle of going to court. So let me give you a scenario. You have a dispute. Let's say something goes wrong with a transaction, with a purchase of real property, and some expenses have gone into it. And you have $5,000 worth of earnest money, but you're looking at $30,000 worth of expenses that went into this transaction, and then one of the parties breached the contract. And so you do have options under a breach, but let's say you just want to be made financially whole, right? So you go and you look at it and you realize quickly that $5,000 of earnest money isn't going to really even make a dent in the damage that you're going to incur for that party backing out. So the quick option is small claims court. Well, you got to look at your small claims court, but most of them, all of them I know of, have a cap of how much you can even ask for. And so, depending on the area, the number can change. But let's say it's $10,000 or $15,000. Well, again, you're looking at a $30,000 hit from of actual costs to the transaction. And let's say you've got a jurisdiction that's $15,000. Well, that's half. So what do you do? Well, you can go to district court. Right? That again, there's an avenue for you. There's a system for you to get your justice. But you talk to most litigators, and they're probably going to say, $30,000 to litigate this. You're going to burn through that in attorney's fees pretty quickly. And yeah, you might win. They may even look and say you probably will win this. However, the cost will be $25,000 in legal fees minimum. Maybe we get up to $35,000, $40,000 for you to recover $30,000. And it's a drawn out process. It takes an emotional toll to go through litigation. And so you're looking at it and you're saying, well, I might be right and I can go after this, but at the end of the day, I might end up with that same $5,000 that I could have taken in earnest money that'll go into my pocket after litigating, even though I got an award of $30,000. It cost me $25,000 in fees to get that $30,000. and then I'm going to end up with the same 5, but it's going to be 18 months later and a lot of emotional stress, and I net the same amount of money. Now, I'm not making a plug for putting $5,000 in. I'm saying you should probably have put more in there to cover, so you didn't have to go through the price of court. So just remember that sometimes it's expensive to be right in court, and that's where you see, quite frankly, some dishonest people get away with things at times because they say, yeah, it's not worth it for you to come after me for this amount of money. And I know that. So I'm going to, go ahead and not do the right thing here because I don't think you're going to take it all the way to court. And that's unfortunate. You still can, and I know people that do and say it's worth the headache because I want to play it out. But better yet would be to have really tight contracts so you avoid the problem in the first place. There's not really a good reason to go to court. Second best is to have enough earnest money in there that if you had $25,000 in there, $20,000 even, it might start to look like it's worth it to save that time and effort, even though maybe I still am out a little bit of money. Or as you see the cost of the contract escalating, maybe a negotiation point for you is to add earnest money. If I have to go put money into engineering, something to figure out the purchase of this property, then okay, I want some guarantees back that if you bail on me, seller, I have some protection. So, or seller, or vice versa, right? Maybe some of the earnest money goes hard. Maybe you increase the earnest money as the buyer asks for more to be done. But just remember that this is probably painful for some of you because you've been in that situation before. Hopefully not. But having good, tight contracts and having an adequate amount of earnest money can alleviate this problem as long as you understand it. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.